الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. When I first moved to Collin County and Plano 23 years ago, there were barely 500 Muslims. Alhamdulillah, at the end of 2013, we can proudly say we are a vibrant community of 16,000 people. The growth has been tremendous in the last few years. And with the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Muslim community has come together and built around 5 masajids in Collin County. Where do we go from here?
Muslims have lived in Plano and neighboring cities since the early 1970s. The Muslim Association of Plano was formed as early as 1991 by a few concerned individuals. The Islamic Association of Collin County IACC came together around the mid-1990s. The completion of IACC's first project attracted thousands of Muslims to Collin County.
Alhamdulillah, I'm very grateful that I have the privilege to be part of this community since the early 90s. That was back in the Custer Road where we were next to a small shops, and we only have one room. And then we expanded there, made it double room, and that wasn't enough. Quickly, alhamdulillah, within a couple years, we were very quickly expanding and looking for places, and we found this place, a current place on Independence. And then, alhamdulillah, at the time, the brothers got together and we purchased this land. And as you know, the rest of them, you have seen the building completed.
This experience tells me is that if you put your heart and soul into a project, no matter how enormous it is, Allah will help you. And if your niyyah is sincere, you will get the results.
This landmark facility, called Plano Masjid, situated at 6401 Independence Drive, is the first of IACC's formal institutions that houses a beautiful masjid, a library, multi-purpose hall, a gym, clinics, food pantry, 18 classrooms, administrative office with sufficient parking. Alhamdulillah, this was just a beginning. Today, Collin County Muslims have 5 masajid, some in advanced stages of completion or nearly completed. Insha'Allah, there will be many to come.
In the next 2 or 3 decades, we're going to move on from just those to the point where Plano Masjid will not just be a religious establishment, it'll be a landmark of Plano, Texas, and it will be something that should be in our pamphlets when you're advertising for the city of Plano, that this is one of those amazing places that you should definitely visit and experience if you really want to understand what the landscape of Plano is.
We cannot sit back and relax. We cannot say that we wanted to build a masjid, we have done that, and now our mission is over. No, our mission continues. We need to do things that would bring a larger benefit to the community. I'm very pleased and very proud of the Plano Masjid leadership that they have taken on some very, very worthy projects. Getting land for cemetery is one of them. Opening up education opportunity in the form of Taqwa Academy, very impressive, very admirable project. All these projects will require endowment on the part of this community to flourish.
The population of Collin County is projected to grow to 2.2 million people. And inshallah, the Muslim population will accordingly grow to 50,000 people. To cater to this population and to meet our social, religious, and educational obligation, we need to have different sets of institutions. And it's a collective responsibility of all the Muslims in Collin County. Inshallah, the next set of institutions would be endowed with the help of the community. We are looking at various things to do. very ambitious, very futuristic, which will take us to the next 25 years, inshallah.
We talk about developing future generations of believers, worshippers, prayers, Muslims, contributors to society, teachers and students. Developing, that requires finding an effective way to sustain the institutions that are already in place. So we develop to sustain, but we must sustain to develop. That's the idea there.
IACC has assumed the role of a central Jama Masjid in Collin County. Along with the role comes the responsibility of building the community and developing the required institutions for several decades. As part of a strategic growth plan for the next 20-plus years, the community needs a Muslim cemetery in Collin County. For meetings, the community's obligation of education and dawah activity, the Texas Academy of Quranic Understanding and Application, TAQWA for short, has been started. For sustaining and supplementing income generation, an endowment in the form of a waqf must be instituted.
This is why the Prophet ﷺ advised Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu when he wanted to give away his farm. He had a farm, he wanted to give it away sadaqah. قال حبس أصلها وتصدق بثمرتها. Keep the land and give away the fruit. And it became since then awqaf or ahbas. This is the endowment system in Islam. The pieces of lands which make mosques are all awqaf.
This unprecedented challenge of permanently establishing the required institutions is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the Muslims of Collin County to take the big leap in developing identified institutions that have been done by all successful communities over the years, and which is at the core of our iman, and hence prophetic legacy of all prophets.
The importance of waqf, or establishing an endowment, has its roots in the Quranic injunctions on spending. Because it is the duty of every single believer, male and female, to spend in the cause of Allah, to spend their wealth, to spend their time, their energy, as a gesture of faith, to support the cause of Allah, and that spending in the path of Allah is described in the prophetic hadith as kamal al-iman, the zenith and sort of the perfection and the pinnacle of faith.
The legacies we leave behind by establishing these institutions will be regarded by future generations as the manifest destiny of Muslims in Texas and the United States.
MashaAllah, you heard the testimonials of many of our brothers and sisters who have lived in our community for many, many years with their families. Alhamdulillah, we live in an exciting time and a great place. We have achieved a lot of success collectively as a Jama'ah. And I invite each one of you today to take this organization to the next high. Let's join together collectively and live a lasting legacy. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum. The Collin County population is, sorry.